And hello there. So this is a special video. Yeah, excuse my voice. This is all to do with setting up your HOTAS joystick, but more importantly, what I'm referring to is the Thrustmaster. I'm looking at the other monitor because that's what I've got set up. The Thrustmaster Warthog, and it's the stick and the throttle systems. They're the two that I have, and that's the two that I set up. First things first, though, you have to make sure that the stick is calibrated. I'm only saying from personal experience in the fact that I found that the ship was drifting slightly to the left constantly. It's not anything wrong with the stick. It's all to do with calibration. All right, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to be looking over here, so I apologize for that. So you go to your start, type in joystick, and you'll see set up USB game controllers. This is assuming that you've plugged both your controllers in. Please do that first. All right, you'll know that they're plugged in and working because the drivers will automatically initialize, and on the throttle you'll get loads of lights. It looks lovely. All right, so we'll bring this up. I'll move it across to the screen so you can see it. And right, so there we have it. My only two controllers that I have in, I have a joystick HOTAS Warthog and the Throttle HOTAS Warthog. All right, so they're there to calibrate, and I think my throttle was calibrated enough, but you can do that. But I'll show you how to calibrate the joystick. It is very, very simple. Properties, I think it was advanced. No, properties. Go to properties, and I'll bring this across the other window. You'll come up with this screen. All right. So, and we're in the second tab at the top, which is test. All right. So you can quickly move your thingy around, and oh yeah, it's all right. The stick is quite stiff. Yeah. So you need the strength of a strong man to do it. Go around. So that's going around. Lovely. Push a few buttons and they're coming on. Move the point of view hat. You've got other buttons that you're moving and they're all lighting up. I don't think you can actually see that. It's poor graphics, but they are lighting up. Lovely. Do that one. That was lighting up. Number 4. All right. Importantly, we go to settings and we've got this option here in game controller calibration, which is calibrate. All right, so we'll press that and it brings up a wizard. Okay, welcome to the device calibration wizard. Thank you. Press next, and we go next. Leave the handle centered, then press a button on the controller. I will do that. All right, okay. Move the handle in complete circles, then press a button on the controller. So we'll just move it in complete circles so it gets the full range. Do you hear it moving around? Okay, so that's moved around. Leave it into the center. You can see mine's off and then go next. Leave the handle centered and press a button on the controller. Okay. All right, calibration complete. Finish. That's it. That's all you need to do with the calibration. You'll find it's now centered and goes to all the positions enough up there. We squeeze it in as much as we can, and that's more than enough. But importantly, it's centered. It won't drift. All right, so that is that. I'll just go apply, and then OK, and then OK on that, and we've got it all calibrated. All right, so this is prior to you starting Star Citizen. We will now jump into Star Citizen and I'll show you what I set up. All right then, thank you very much. I'm going to push the off button. And we're back on. We're now in Star Citizen. We're at the main menu page and I am going to go to options. Okay. All right, so first things first, we need to do our key bindings. It sounds a bit weird, but key bindings. So go to key bindings and we've got our bottom thing. I love the way it does that. So we've got our bottom options here and we want to select through and we've got HOTAS, and it says please refer to advanced keybind menu for stick, and you think, it's down here, advanced controls customization. It's a bit weird, but you have to go here. Alright, so go to advanced, and this comes up. You think, wow, this is a little bit weird. A little bit weird. Alright, so let's go down. The ones that I've done are movement, because that's the most important thing. Flight movement. Excuse me, my throat is terrible. Alright, so flight movement, not fright. Flight movement. I will get there. So we'll go down, and yeah, you think, oh, so I have done some stuff. All right, so what I set up. So first of all, we need our joystick to pitch and yaw. So pitch is up and down, and yaw is left and right. Importantly, we don't want to pitch up or pitch down. We want to pitch and then pick an axis. So I'm going to just remove this one. So I'm going to highlight this one. And to remove an option, if you look down here in the bottom one, is right button. So right button to unbind. So unbind that. And look down here, it's double click to, but you wonder what? Double click to start it. Okay, so we're doing pitch, so we want to give them up and down. So what I will do, I'm going to double select this one, then I'm going to move my joystick forward and backwards. Right, double click, and then just move it forward. And it says rebinding Y. And this input is already used, so just go yes, because you want it. Alright, so now we're on Y axis is in the pitch, and you will do the same for left and right, which is yaw. So there it is, left and right, X axis. So what I've done, I selected that and then moved my joystick towards the left, and it's got the X axis. Lovely. The way that I've done this is I have the joystick going left and right and up and down, but it's the direction facing, not moving. That's called strafing. Okay, which we'll come to in a little while. But one of the things you want to do, you want to roll left and roll right. So I have that on the stick, there is a tiny little round button where your thumb will go, just below the fire button. And that is what I've used for roll left and right. So when I go left on that button, it comes up with button 10. So I'm just going to right click this one to remove it. So select it, right click, and then double click, and I will go left, and it's rebinding button 10. Okay, and I do the same for the right. So at this point, my ship will move, or the direction of its facing will go left, right, up and down, and it will now roll left and roll right. So we're sort of getting there on our things. So this is quite cool. After that, what I want it to do is in space, or when you're in a pad, you want it to go, you want the whole ship to move up in vertically, or down vertically, or left horizontally, and right horizontally. So the whole ship will move, and this is called strafing. Alright, so we strafe up. Now I put all these on hat 1, which is the white large circular thing, which is right next to the right of your fire button. Okay, so what I've done with that one, so I want to strafe it up, so we'll select it and we'll right click to clear it, double click to get it, and I'll just move this, I think this is called the hat. So we move the hat up and go yes. Sorry, my voice is so squeaky. Yes. Alright, so hat. That's our little hat one. We moved it up. And I did the same for down, and then strafe left. So I went left with the hat and right with the hat. Okay, so that is that. So we can move our ship up and down, left and right, physically in space, and we can change the direction of it by moving left, right, up and down, so the direction only, and we can roll the ship by left and right. So that is, I think, enough for us to start our maneuvering. That the last thing we want is we want our ship to move. Okay, now, this is a little bit awkward. There's two ways of doing this. You could have it so it throttles backwards and forwards, which is this option here. In that case, we'd have to center our well, basically our throttle. So you center it, you mid-center it, and that is stationary. When you move it then back, and you've got like 50% move. When you move it back, the more you move back, the more the ship will move back. And then when you go back to the center, it will stop. And then you move it forward towards max, and it will go forward. So that's a bit awkward. So I didn't quite want that. I just wanted the ship to go forward. So what I did was select this one, and I moved both my throttles forward because they're clipped together, and that gave me the z-axis, which is input 2, input 2. Okay, so that means that we now have our ship that can thrust forward, but we haven't got back. All it does is just go forward. So there is an inverter, so you go straight forward, back, invert. And what I've done is a button on my throttle. So I selected this one, and if I quickly do this, I'll right click and move it, double click, push. There. So it's gone back to button 1 on input 2. Right. So what does input 2 mean? Input 2, I mean, we have two HOTAS controllers. We have our stick and we have our throttle. Now the way it's initialized on my machine is my HOTAS 1 is my stick, HOTAS 2 is my throttle. Okay, so this is basically what we've done. So to move your ship any direction, in the direction, use your stick. To pitch, to roll left and right, so I get the right terminology, you'd use your black circular button below the control the fire button, and you would then use your hat, which is the light coloured hat shaped control. You'd move that to strafe up and down. So that's all our movement completely done, which I think is great. I have done another one, okay, which is all to do with our speed limiter. On the throttle, you have increase and decrease, which is this little grey slider on the right of the throttle, about halfway up, and it's I've got it fixed to that one. So, and I've picked the absolute setting. So this one. So when the slider is down, it is basically our speed limiter is set right bottom, so we won't actually go forward. So I then move it up, and it will move the speed up. And I'll show you this in the ship when we get going. And yeah, so that that will then move it up and down. Your throttle is then indicated as a percentage of your total speed. So when you've got it half up, you'd have to max your throttle to get to that speed, but I'll show you that. It's something that you'll get used to. There's a couple of other things that I've done. I've done space brake and landing systems, but I won't go into any other controls. I think these are the most important ones. Right, finally, if you need to invert, this is the more complex bit of it. It took me a while to work out. My throttle was the wrong way round. It was a case of when I had it on idle or off, it was at max speed. And then when I moved it up to max, it then went minimum, we're too slow and stop. So effectively it was reversed. So this took some working out. So what you have to do if you need to invert an axis, now it's the same with the controller, I've done the same with my vertical axis on that. You have to go to controls and you'll see inverse settings here, but we're on mouse. So you then click through, you've got your gamepad, and now we've got HOTAS 1 and HOTAS 2. I'll go back to HOTAS 1. Now I know this is a stick because I've only got basically two axes, X and Y. On HOTAS 2, I have there's like an X, Y, Z, a rotation, a slider. It is quite a complex controller. There are several buttons on it. So we know that this is the throttle system and HOTAS 1 is the joystick. So we go to inverse settings, okay, and we go to flight, inversion settings. Sorry, I'm trying to work out that word. I will say I am dyslexic, and I noticed someone pointed out I'd spelt microtech wrong. I don't see that. I just see words and stuff. Now I've struggled to pronounce certain words, so you just have to be a little bit patient with me. It's something that I've lived with all my life, and my colleagues and my family have a little bit of amusement at how I pronounce stuff and how I spell things. And my work colleagues are very respectful of this. And I would like to think that you guys are also respectful of that. It's just how my brain is wired. It's just slightly different. All right, back in the room. 1, 2, 3. So what we want to do, we want to inverse. I will show you what I do for my y-axis. Okay, so looked at this one. Now pitch. Sorry. I need to inverse that. Now I know my pitch control is my forward and back on the joystick, so I inversed it. I just clicked or click. No, yes. Now I wanted yes. All right. So what we'll do, we go to HOTAS 2, which is our slider control. Now I know if we go to inverse settings and then we go to flight. Okay, this is the most confusing thing. And then you go to flight movement. And then you look down, you think, I don't see any throttle up or down. There's no throttle. Well, it's actually strafe forward, backwards. That's how they've worded it here, which is different from the controls. So we quickly go to key bindings, and I go here, and go to HOTAS, and go advanced, and then I go to and we'll get to the top. Somewhere there, flight movement, and go pitch your strafe down, and you got throttle here. This is what I can understand. We got throttle and strafe. Strafe is separate when you go to control. Strafe is your throttle, which is a little weird. All right, so back to HOTAS 2, inversion settings, and flight. And then flight movements, and then we look down here. What I've done is for the throttle to invert it so it works. So when you're on off, you're not moving, and when you thrust forward to max, your max speed is up to your speed limiter. What I've done it for all of them. Importantly, I've done it for the strafe. Up, down, left, right. And the strafe forward, backwards. It's important you have them three set and your throttle will move. I've also done the velocity limit and acceleration limit, but I'm not sure even if you need to do that, but I have done that. That seems to be fine. All right, importantly, these are the three important ones, which your strafe forward needs to be yes. Your strafe forward backwards, needs to be yes. Your strafe forward needs to be yes. And your strafe backwards needs to be yes. These three here are very important. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now if you do that, that is great. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to start the game. I'll sort the video out later. So you don't see the boring bits in it, the load. So I will come back when we're in our ship in space. Okay guys, so here we are. I got the Titan out because it is a small ship. We don't want to brag and have a massive ship. So it's what most people have, a Titan. Alright, so we'll get in our seat. And then we'll test out our joystick. Now I've inverted my pitch. I might need to take that off, but we'll see when we go out. This is something I haven't got to get used to. When we're out there, I'll explain my problems with how I see the stick going forward and backwards. Alright, so we're going to start up little beauty. There she is. Looking good. We'll call ATC. Thank you. ATC's called. Thank you. Alright then, so now we're going to go up. So how do we go up with the joystick? Well, we just strafe up. So you use the hat. And just go up on the hat a little bit, and we're up. We're up. Eventually, we're up. So external view, lovely. We're pointing up. If I just move the camera around, you can see our gears down. So I just put the gear up, and we're all ready to go. All right. Now I'm going to throttle forward. So, all right, let's go. It was one thing to notice is it's very good. You can have I had the throttle set halfway, and it didn't move the ship, which is very good. So, alright, back in the room. So we go back in the ship. My little slider moves the speed indicator. You can see here. So I'm going to have that set quite low, and I'm just going to move the throttle forward a little bit. And keep going. Now I'm halfway, going towards max, and you can see, if I go down again, you can see how I'll go halfway, 3/4, and max. 1/4, so I'll move it down. You can see how it actually changes. It's proportional to your speed. So, right, so don't think you have to do minor movements on your throttle. It depends on your speed limitator, which I'll move up and down with a little slider. So that bit works fine. So what we'll do is we'll stop the ship. Alright, so now, moving the entire ship left and right. So if I do that with the hat, now going to the right, and we're now going to go, we'll stop, going right, go left a little bit. You can see the little 2 dots as one of the indicators when you come out of the pads. Lovely. So I'll put that there, and we'll stop. So I'm going to go down, stop, and then go up. So this bit all works fine. Oh yeah, well, it looks lovely. Up and down. Brilliant. Now to roll. So let's go up. So we've got some markers. There they all are. So we're going to roll left a little bit. Now we're going to roll right a little bit. And then we're going to center. Just a little taps. That's all you need. It takes some getting used to. I'm getting used to it. So we'll roll completely around. It's lovely. Very maneuverable. Oh, so that's great. So this is the basic movement of us moving the entire ship around in space and rolling it, so we can roll and get ourselves aligned correctly to where we want to land or where we want to go. Brilliant. So, and we've got throttle going forward. So if I go forward slightly, we'll hit our button, and now we're going backwards. We hit our button again, and I'm going forwards. So let's go stop, hit the button, forwards, stop, hit the button, hit the button, backwards. Sorry, my button is a little bit wobbly. So forwards, that's it. You can tell by the things changing. Lovely. And back, forwards and back, and back. Lovely. Alright, so we've done that. My problem with tilting is I've got this wrong. What I would like to do is when I tilt forward, how do you see that? Do you think if you're tilting forward you want the ship to go down but it's going up? Alright, so when you go back you want the ship to go up, because it is like a flight. It's like a yoke, isn't it? You go forwards and you're going down, backwards, and then you go up. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly swap that over. Nothing's perfect. So I go to options again, go to key bindings, oh no, go to controls, sorry, go to HOTAS 1, inversion settings, flight, and flight movement, and then we'll change that to off, and then go back and return to game, and we're there. Right, so now if I go forward it goes down. Now if I go backwards it will go up. Now if I want to go forwards down there, that's great. So that all works, that's great. So this is your movement, which is great. Everything's all done and you've got the basics set up. Any other button you can just work on it. Okay, now I'm going to show you about how you save these things, and you can save it as a profile. Okay, the last things is quite important really. So you go escape, bring up options, and then you go to key bindings, and then you go to HOTAS, there, lovely, go to advanced control customization, and one thing I didn't mention is these control profiles. Lovely, so we've got ours all set up, and we go there, we go save new settings. So I'll save, go in there, and I would call it Neil hyphen HOTAS. Lovely, and save. Now I know I've already got that, so it'll overwrite it. So that's my setting. There are other ones predefined for the different joysticks which you can use, but they're not quite set up. This HOTAS Warthog HOTAS one will only set up your stick, and not very well. So you can use these options, but it's probably important to save your settings in a profile so you have it as a profile. Okay, so I think that about covers everything. So let's go back. So I'm going to go down to New Babbage and play the game, and yeah, I just hope that you have followed. Let's just bring everything up. So where are we? Hope that you have followed. It takes some getting used to. Alright, so you've followed it. So we're going to thrust forward. So we're all set up and I'm going to jump to it. And I will see you out there in the universe. Wow, it's loud in my headphones. Yeah, 07 my friends, 07.